ladies and gentlemen, for checking out Going Deeper. I'm your host, Matt. I've got a great show planned for you tonight. You'll know my guest tonight from her appearances on websites such as bangbros.com and the slightly less ambiguous gangbangcreampie.com. You can find links to all of her social media in the episode description below, but I want to recommend you check out her OnlyFans at Channy Crossfire. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the very sexy Channy Crossfire. Channy, how are you
Hey,
tonight?
greetings from the West Coast.
What part?
Afternoon and
California?
evening.
Where you at?
Yes.
California? Yeah. Okay. All
Yep.
right. All right. Were you? Good evening as well. Are you originally? Where are you originally from? You know details, but like, do you ever talk about that?
Oh yeah, I'm proud to be a Cali born, Cali native, and people can tell I'm not from around um their area because I'm friendly now. So I just randomly say hi to people on the street, strangers, and they just look at me like, "You're not from around here, are you?"
I I'm in New Jersey, which is so adjacent to New York that yes, if I walk down the street and go, "Hi, how are you today?" someone will think I'm trying to fucking rob them of
Oh
something.
my
It's
God.
rough. It's rough. But that's good to hear. You're okay. Let me ask you this: the boring question. Everything starts with it. You go as depthful as you want to. It's just my audience may not know. How'd you initially get into the adult entertainment industry? Because I want to get through all the basics. Because I have a question about your personality. You just pointed something out, and I want to bring something up from some of your scenes.
All
How'd you
right.
initially get into the industry?
Okay, real talk. Um, I think the real domino effect was uh, my ex broke up with me. That was my last exclusive monogamous vanilla relationship. So it was a mix of that, and then I had two previous suicide attempts before that relationship, and it was a mix of that. And I was like, you know what? I need to go soul searching. I need to get started on my bucket list, and it really went from there.
It took off. That was the fuse that lit it, huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
If it's not too personal, can I ask how are you doing nowadays?
I shit you not. As I've gone soul searching these last few years, um, now I know what authenticity really means, and
Okay.
what self care really means, and what self love really means. And the ironic part of that is, I'm so glad I took that seriously first. Like I set those intentions and had those goals in mind,
Hmm.
or else I don't think I would have survived being in this type of adult entertainment industry. You know,
Sure.
like
I mean,
it really, yeah.
life is tough enough just by
Mhm.
itself. Throw in the fact that you're dealing with being a private contractor, essentially,
Mhm.
possibly doing your own booking or hiring an
Mhm.
agent for that, shooting these scenes, figuring out how to market it properly, which is like 80% of the job nowadays, it seems like.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I mean that is the pro and con of and trade-off of being self-employed now and an entrepreneur. You know,
mhm,
there's that trade-off. There's more flexibility, but there is more work, you know. It's
sure.
not a conventional 9 to 5 job, but you be able to have like live life more on your own terms.
Mhm.
Like again, real talk on more of that origin story of how I got into the industry. So yeah, it was a mix of my last breakup, and I call myself a pandemic porn star because I
Sure.
really got into it right before quarantine happened. And the year before quarantine, I was already going through that breakup. I was in a car accident with my ex,
Mhm.
so I had a near life death experience, and then had to move back into my mom's place, and she used to be toxic. And then I had lost my job, so I had a head start before quarantine to deal with shit before shit really hit the fan. And then I was on my mom's couch for at least a year until like I had signs pointing me to go into the adult industry, you know, again with my bucket list and bucket list.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this leap of faith and go from there. And oh my gosh, like I said, I've it just really helps that I made it such a positive journey. Like I'm not doing it for superficial, shallow reasons.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
It's it's such a great industry because I think so many of you girls, at least for sexuality and stuff like that, can really like find your place and find what you like and explore and
Mhm.
find what you don't like, you know, the shit you fucking
Exactly.
hate and never want to do again and that was awful and I don't like
Mhm.
that. Gone. But you at
Mhm.
least tried it and you can at least say like, oh shit, I'm not into that. No, this and that. And it's only one aspect of your life, the sexuality part, but it
Mhm.
can spiderweb out to every other aspect where
Oh,
you're
yeah.
you're now more organized. You're better with
Mhm.
money. You're this, you're that. You learned how to do Photoshop. Like you're gaining
I
these
mean,
life. Yeah. Yeah.
hopefully, ideally, that's what I hope most of the models, that's what they're doing. But not everyone has good work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is mindful of the productive side to it. You know, some people really just want to fuck, you know, and not have those types of work ethics and work standards, you know. Um, but yeah, like okay, I mean, another Easter egg with my origin story with that, with my bucket list. Before I was officially in industry, I started venturing out, checking out play parties, sex
Okay.
parties,
Sure.
parties that only existed in movies, you know? So, and I'm just like, holy shit, these are real life gangbangs and orgies happening in real life, you know? And yeah, I started going to them more frequently. And then I got to the point where, you know what? I think I'm catching an STI, you know, because everyone's wearing condoms, but no one's vetting for, you know, for
Right.
STI and sex health. So I was like, okay, with me being this sexually active and this high sex drive, I'm getting tired of having symptoms, you know, because I would get tested once every 3 months.
Yeah.
And now, um, it was actually FetLife.com where I found my first agent, you know, and that's the website where I found all these parties. So that's where I met my first agent, and I was the main headline is I might as well get paid to have safe sex.
Sure.
You know, like going like having this type of like high drive and being a natural at it. You know, I was already familiar with group dynamics. You know,
Sure.
and that's where the learning part comes in. Um, Before the industry, when I was going to those parties, I was experimenting, like, okay, what I like and don't like, you know, evolving my do's and don'ts and boundaries,
Yeah.
you know. And then I got into the industry, and I took that with me, and then I grew from there.
So, were you always like a very sexual person, or was there a point where you not in a negative way, but crossed
Uh-huh.
that line where you're like, oh, I'm not tiptoeing, or maybe that first time you tiptoed over, was
Mhm.
it when you went to one of those clubs, or were you a little earlier than that with experimenting and
Mhm.
stuff like that?
Well, I already knew my sexuality was evolving since I was little. Like I remember thinking in high school, okay, I think I'm bi. I think I'm also into chicks, right? And then when I graduated high school and in college, I remember being like I was already looking into porn, you know, during high school and after high school. And I remember thinking, oh man, I'm starting to like transgenders as well, like both
Yeah.
genders, you know? And that's when I knew like my sexuality was evolving. So it went from me being bisexual to pansexual to omnisexual, you
Sure.
know? And I've always been curious about some things, you know? And my past relationships with my exes, you know, we were definitely like adventurous with each other, you know? Um, but in regards to group dynamics, like me being able to get in my first threesomes was after the breakup and when I
Okay.
went to those
Okay.
parties. So yeah.
Okay. Not not to dredge up bad memories, but I
Uh-huh.
have to know this. Did you break up with him? Did he break up with you? Was it just a mutual thing?
You know what? I really love that you asked that because you're the
Sure.
first one to ask that, which I totally
Wow.
understand. But disclaimer, I've already made peace with all of that,
Sure. Sure.
you know? So I thank you for asking me that. None of that's triggering anymore. But no, like real talk, this is another reason why I'm a mental health advocate.
Mhm.
He broke up with me, which I totally understand because at that time, like even though we had a lot of things in common and definitely chemistry. um, like, not to speak for him, but at least to
Sure.
speak for myself, there were some, like, childhood traumas that I didn't completely resolve and make peace with, and sometimes that would bleed into our relationship, you know? Like, I used to be insecure, and I used to hate myself, and I used to slut shame myself, and this was before I got into the industry, and there were moments where I had some toxic femininity, but I
Hmm.
didn't realize it at the time. I was too in my head.
Hmm.
So it was only being able to have that distance and growing apart and focusing more on myself,
Sure.
did all that wisdom and epiphany, like all those epiphanies finally came to me. So I still have love and respect for him. I'm just not in love with him anymore. And
Sure.
honestly, I have no regrets. Like if he hadn't broken up with me, um, like I try to take my own advice. Like you should never. I'm at the point now where uh you should never be in a relationship to overcompensate. You know, you really have to learn to love yourself first,
Sure.
you know, and then everything else should feel like a bonus. You shouldn't have to overcompensate for someone. And yeah, I learned that the hard way, but better late than never, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. See,
yeah.
I ask that because I wonder, did you, okay, did you step into that realm at all because you just were curious and you were at a different place in your life? You had had other things, you had dealing with trauma, the breakup, this and that. Was any of it a getting back at him thing or no?
You know, oh no, you know what?
Okay, see,
Ironically,
that's what I
no.
wasn't sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Ironically,
okay.
no. That year, I was definitely going through a lot, and I was experimenting with a lot of things.
Hmm.
I was really trying to find myself, literally, and soul searching, and that was the first and last time I experimented with drugs, like
Sure.
hard drugs. Like I've had a few bumps of cocaine, and looking back, I'm really lucky, which is another reason why I advocate for one of my friends' nonprofit companies called endoverdose.net.
Okay.
So they have free opioid awareness training, free fentanyl test strips, free Narcan, naloxone. So there's that too.
One
And
more time. Can you give me that website one more time? I want
yeah,
to plug it here, but I also my younger brother actually died of a heroin overdose. So it is, close to me.
mhm.
Please plug that website one more time.
Endoverdose.net. ENDOVERDOSE.net.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to put that in the
Mhm.
episode description as well. When people are down there checking out your Twitter and everything else, if you have someone in your life that suffers from that type of thing, definitely check out that link, or if you're suffering with that
Mhm.
yourself. So that was the first time you experimented. Did you find that you had a personality that migrated towards overuse of those things?
You know what? That's another thing. Um, because I was having such a hard year, uh, it gave me that understanding of why I would experiment and try some things. But I was lucky enough to already have the wisdom, um, with my previous bad habits, like being able to recognize that I've had previous self-sabotaging habits,
Sure.
to know not to be too dependent on it. You know, like
Yeah.
the old me would have abused it, but because that whole year I saw it as a make it or break it. Like it was my lifeline that year.
Hmm.
Like not that I was 5150. I mean, I was definitely kind of unhinged,
Sure.
but something was telling me that year to just focus on my passions like a lifeline, you know, to make it through. Because yeah, honestly, because of everything I was going through, it would have broken most people.
Sure.
Um I the only would have attempted a suicide attempt, but instinctively and intuitively, I knew if I did a third time, um, it would actually pan out and it would actually be a success.
Sure.
And so I was very aware and conscientious of that. So
Wow.
that's why I take yoga and martial arts so seriously, because that's literally what I really focused on that whole year, to just keep my sanity in check, to keep me out of trouble. Because I was starting to get angry at the world that year, and I was itching to get into fights. It got to that point. But like I said, I'm glad that broke me in a year before quarantine, because
yeah.
right before collectively other people were starting to lose their shit,
Yeah. Ask me about my go bag in my trunk. Yeah, no, yeah,
Yo,
definitely.
do you
Yeah.
legit have one? I have more than a couple go bags.
I do. I just bought a little mini shovel the other day to put in there. There we go.
Oh my God.
We're going to take a quick break. My guest tonight, folks, Channy Crossfire, not Chassis Crossfire, as I've heard other people say before. Channy Crossfire. You can find links to all of her social media in the episode description below, but make sure you go to her OnlyFans at Channy Crossfire.
Do you have that gotta finish feeling that just won't quit? Would Mistress be disappointed in the seed you've spilled? Now might be the time to try Goontrex. Goontrex, the first clinically tested YWF2 ejaculate inhibitor, allows mommy's pay pigs to pound all day without the complications of post-nut clarity.
Side effects include loss of income, loss of home, loss of family, backed up prostate, homicidal rage, and dry basketball shorts.
So if you're a quick shooter with a family that you're ready to ignore, talk to your doctor and see if Goontrex is right for you. Goontrex. Keep it in all night and get back to gooning for a goddess. Brought to you by YourWorstFriend.com.
And I'm back with my guest, Channy Crossfire. Make sure you follow her across all social media, but especially check out her OnlyFans at Channy Crossfire. Links to everything below. Channy, I want to play a game with you. Would you mind if we play it?
Okay.
The game is called Porn Words. Okay. I'm going to give you a clue for the correct answer, and your job is to tell me what that word is. It's basically the game Passwords, okay?
Okay.
I can't say any form of the answer in my clues to you. You can pass at any time, and if there's still time on the clock, we'll go back and you can get the ones you missed. You'll have, I'll give you an example. You'll have 69 seconds on the clock and 10 answers to figure out. But, say I made say I was like, soft drink. What would you say? Soft drink.
Soda. Pop.
Soda brand.
Oh, Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
There you go. Perfect. There you go. See? You just throw out answers. I'll try and give you clues. Now, here's the thing. These are all porn-related categories.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Spicy. Okay.
69 seconds on the clock. You will start when I say it starts. You can pass at any time. We'll come back to it if you have to. And good to go. 3, 2. Question number 1. Dressing up like animals.
Oh, furries.
There you go. Number 2. Woman in charge.
Dom, boss lady.
Keep going. First part of that. Woman. There you go. All right. Number 2. Not your mouth, pussy, or
ass.
There you go. Number 4. Bunch of guys, one girl.
Gangbang.
Okay.
Gangbang.
Gangbang. Correct. Number 5. Bunch of guys, one girl, very sticky face.
Bukake.
Okay. Number 6. If you don't swallow, you
spit.
There you go. Number 7. Basic sex position, starting out on it. Everyone starts out on it.
Everyone starts out on it? Okay. Fellatio, blowjob.
No. Sex position. 10 seconds. Yeah, there you go. Number 8. 2 in the same body at the same time. 5 seconds.
Double penetration.
Got it. Older, mature. Time. There you go. 8 out of 10 is pretty fucking good, though. Okay.
My favorite number.
For a tiebreaker, according to IAFD.com, the Internet Adult Film Database,
Oh.
which doesn't include certain things like OnlyFans or this or that. It's more just kind of like website mainstream type stuff. For the tiebreaker, according to IAFD.com, as of this recording, how many male performers have you worked with?
Oh my god, I lost count. We're not even talking about before I got into this.
Nothing. We're not talking about any of that, and we're not talking about any of the numbers they don't count.
Oh,
You're
shit.
gonna have tough time getting into heaven after this one, but how many?
Let's see. At least 100.
28.
I'm confident. At least 100.
No,
I know
28.
it's doubled ever since.
28. Can you hear me? 28.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you running stats on me?
No, I told you on IAFD.com they have a thing. It tells you everyone you've ever worked with. Yeah, and at the bottom
That's what
it says
they think on record, huh?
that's
Okay.
on record. Yeah. See, you're almost like a nun. 28's pretty good. You're fine. I do want to talk about some of your content. I don't know if you're a porn star. I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, maybe about your personality. I think you're an artist who's really hot and enjoys sex, so you went, I'm going to try and make this my art.
I really like that perspective.
If that at all sounded insulting, I didn't mean it that way.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you artistic? Like, have you been artistic throughout your life? And if you are, what is your medium? Whatever that medium is. Music, like you said? No?
Is that in regards to my modeling work? Like a lot of my photo shoots and pictures?
It's in regards to you as a person.
As a person. Oh. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of my sex drive, me naturally being in this industry stems from me being an athlete. So in my vanilla life, I train martial arts. And so on FetLife, what I love about that is not only can you find out where your kinks and fetishes are and how it narrows down the list when meeting other people instead of beating around the bush, you get to learn your sex personality and your sex style, so that'll help find other people that are similar to you who will be more compatible. So I found out I'm more primal, and I think that translates into how I naturally portray myself on camera.
That primal is the term. Is that like an actual term? Like an actual
it's
fetish
BDSM
kink term?
culture. BDSM world, yeah. That's definitely a term for certain types of people and their sex styles. Like, for example, biting and scratching. Not many people are into that, but the ones that are primal naturally are.
Is there an inverse to primal, like dom and sub?
Yeah, so what's amazing is that you don't have to be just one main style,
sure,
or one main sex identity. Like you could be like certain. Do you smoke herbs and weed?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you know how there's indica, sativas, and hybrid, right?
Yeah,
you can find out what kind of hybrids you are. Like, indica dominant hybrid, sativa dominant hybrid. So yeah, with being dominant and sub, if you naturally can be both dominant and submissive, which is me, I'm a switch. So that's okay. So at first I saw myself as a switch, being able to portray myself genuinely as dominant or sub, depending on who I'm with and what kind of relationship dynamic I have with that person. And then I also found out that I'm primal. So ultimately, I consider myself as a primal switch in the BDSM world. And is that where you're getting at with your question?
Kind of, but I liked your answer anyway because it gave me more information. But actually, not at all. But I did like your answer. It did give me information. It wasn't at all what I was asking. Is there an inverse to primal? Is there like a pampered, like someone who doesn't like anything at all? Like,
yeah,
you know.
So you know how there's an opposite or yin and yang, right? I see it as yin and yang. So the yin and yang of dominance is submissive.
Mhm.
So the yin and yang of primal would be, of course, a prey. Someone that likes being chased, someone that likes being caught, someone that
Okay.
likes being dominated and almost like a feral way. Like how
Sure.
there are people that dress as dogs or puppies
Mhm.
in that realm. Or who naturally have an affinity or identity or persona as a cat or a dog or a puppy.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where those certain personality types come into play.
So you
Yeah.
can be. So how does a. Okay. Last question on this, I
So
swear.
but so that's the ironic part, and you know
Okay.
what? That's a really good question because I haven't thought of that angle before. So I'm only in a switch in the dominant substance, but I don't switch in a primal sense. Like naturally, if I find someone that's also primal or another dominant male, uh I would see them as equal,
Yeah.
for our relationship dynamic to work, you know. But if they're too dominant or if they're too prideful, too egotistical and usually toxic, it gets to that point, then we're not gonna get along.
Sure. So
Yeah.
wait, you yourself can't
I'm
be.
not a prey if that's
No,
if
no,
that's
no,
the
no, no.
analogy. Yeah.
No, I was going to ask, can you be a primal sub? And then does the dom have to be primal as well, or no?
No, okay, so no, really good question there. Depending on who it is, I can be primal sub if I see that person as an equal, and like none of it is forced, none of
Hmm.
it is pressured,
Hmm.
and it usually it would feel natural, and I only say primal in a way where the okay, so I definitely have been with dozens of guys, um,
Okay.
in and out of the industry.
Hmm.
And surprisingly enough, uh, I usually come across a couple of other primals like me, like every dozen dudes.
Hmm.
So to me, it's rare and it's like a treat. Like, we're into like certain like kinky things.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I only emphasize primal because those usually are the the personality types that really like match, like could be really on par with me.
Sure.
Like sexuality and personality.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I notice some of the primal stuff in some of your content. Um, and I'll be honest with you, I had a totally different perspective of your personality before I started like delving in, listening to other interviews, and here talking to you
Oh,
now.
did you do a slight dive on me?
Oh yeah, I'm a professional. Oh yeah,
Oh my
I
god.
was. Please, my wife teared up when I was nominated for an AVN last year. She,
Oh my
I have to
god.
put
Oh
some
my god.
level of effort. Yeah, I mean,
Oh my
come on,
god.
I'm going up against Plug Talk. It's that's fine.
Ah,
It's fine. I'll always be second place.
ah.
So here's where I noticed it. There's a scene you shot, and I'd like to ask you about that scene. You shot for gloryholeswallows.com, which I believe is, if I've emailed him before, Dave, gentleman named Dave, perhaps. He
I'm
says it
honestly
sometimes. Yeah,
confusing it. I don't know if that's the Vegas one or the Arizona
I
one. It's
think it's the
either
Arizona one.
okay.
Okay, so for people who can't understand the concept of that name, Glory Hole Swallows, it's exactly what it sounds like. But there's one part where this gentleman can't finish, and he comes into the room, and you are looking at him like, dude, if we were praying manti right now, I don't think that's the plural, I would take your fucking head off. You are like looking up at this dude. Like if I was him and you're like blowing him at one point and you're looking up at him, I'm like, yo, I'd be scared of her teeth right now, man. Don't fuck around. And then he has the audacity. He's like, well, I mean, could I fuck you? And you're just like, yeah, whatever. Just get this shit done with.
Oh my god.
I
Thank you for that flashback. I totally forgot that happened.
So you do remember that though?
Yeah, it's floating back to me now.
Was that just
I didn't realize you kept that on footage.
it's fun. Let me
Oh
say
my
this.
god.
No. It was the scene, and I had seen other stuff you had done before, but it was the scene I seen where I was like, when you use the word primal, I go, oh, that is the definition, because it almost again, it's all open for interpretation. I'm going to ask you about that scene, but if you were in a positive light, you could go like, oh my God, she just wants to finish this guy to get to the next one. It's so sexy, blah, blah, blah. Really, what I'm going to ask you is, was it like later in the day and you were just like, motherfucker, I need to wrap this. Let's go.
I mean, I I was definitely um insatiable. You know, like I definitely wanted to move on to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
Um that that side that side of me only came out because um he he took a lot more work than the other guys. Like I don't know if he already jacked off that day and not
Right.
saved his pop shot, cause cause usually most guys they're amateurs.
Right.
Usually most guys are professional, know when to save their pop shots, know when to edge, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he was eating junk food, not getting enough rest, or or if he really needs a more like in person physical element to really get him closer.
Sure.
But you know, it's benefit of the doubt. I'm being understanding. But yes, I do have a side to me that does get impatient. And I definitely have a side to me, and the praying mantis
Mm-hmm.
is such a perfect analogy
Thank you.
because at least once a month, I I f- I do have you seen the movie Species?
Yes.
Yeah, at least once a month, which is usually when I'm on my period. Um, I get extra horny, extra intense,
Uh-huh.
extra pissed off at the same time. So I legit feel like I'm in heat,
Mm-hmm.
and there are times, like biologically speaking, I just wanna, and that ties into my genuine cream pie breeding fetish. You know,
Okay,
biologically
we'll have
speaking.
to touch on that, obviously.
So it is a real thing for me, and me being an authentic primal, like I generally do just want to like fuck biologically for like the mating, fucking breeding purposes,
Mm-hmm.
and I do have it in me where like I have fantasized about killing.
Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, killing a dude right after, like that analogy and epiphany. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I don't know why that's a thing. You know, it's like how some guys just fuck to also, you know, for breeding purposes.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
not trying to find a lifelong partner. But it is that thing, biologically speaking, in an animal kingdom, like, oh, that clicks. That checks out.
What? What? Okay, I got it. What is? I've heard it before. Obviously, it's not like some giant revelation, but to
Yeah.
hear
I
you
mean,
say
the
it,
same thing with spiders too. Like female spiders do the same thing too.
oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they kill right after they mate usually. Yeah, they just
Oh.
only want uh the offspring, you know, when they're fertile. Yeah.
Hear that, guys? Yeah. Yeah, guys. Yeah. This
Spiders
is,
and praying mantises.
and you know what? That she's not uncommon. Most women probably feel the same way once a month. Okay, you want to take your fucking head off right now, sir.
And you find
Uh,
that support group.
and you know what? Most of those guys are probably listening to my show. If I'm being honest, I love you. You're all great. Don't be incels
No,
if
I
you
mean that
are.
ties into sorry, sidebar.
Oh,
Uh like if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, um like one of the main motives for me to have a different type of birth control where I don't have to take a pill every day is for the zombie apocalypse analogy. Like it would be such a hassle to just go on my runs and find condoms, you know? I
yeah.
should just have an implantation and not worry about finding condoms during the zombie apocalypse. And I'm the type of person that please be honest and let me know if you got bitten, suck a time when we could get our last fucking before you turn. I'm that type of person that thinks of shit like that.
By the way, did we just write a script? You know what I never thought of? Hear me out. I never thought of this. When the apocalypse happens, right, there's going to be like 4 forms of currency, okay? 5. Ready? Here, let me give them to you. Cigarettes, toilet paper, alcohol, bullets, pussy. There you go. Those are your 5 types, right?
Yeah.
What
Real
if,
shit. Yeah.
how about this script, ready? What are they called in Vegas? Not a cat house. That's like, makes me sound like an 80-year-old man. What are they called now?
All those brothels.
Yeah, brothel. That was
Yeah.
the word. Okay, brothel.
Mhm.
It's a brothel, and then there's word from the outside that a zombie attack's broken out. So this group of rogue women go out and try and find a community that they can fuck their way into. Now, it's not a porn, though. It's just a straight
love
script.
it.
And then,
Yeah.
but here's the thing. That's only half of the movie. The other half is them now rising to power by using themselves and their personalities and their bodies and blah, blah, blah to get up. There's your script. Go write it, artist.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Okay, let's find someone that'll write it, because I never will, but that's a good idea, okay?
That's like a mix of Sucker Punch and Mad Max.
Yeah,
Almost.
that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Mhm.
Sucker Punch, I got too drunk and fell asleep.
Oh my god, you gotta rewatch it.
My wife likes it, so I'm sure it's a good movie. But
Nice.
yeah,
I like her already.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. Okay, so let me ask you again. These people are gonna be like, "Hey, Matt, talk about something." What? Stop giving us script ideas, asshole, and fucking have a conversation. Here, let me ask you,
Take some
what
responsibility.
have you not yet accomplished something on your fuck it bucket list? Sexually, like in terms of the industry, is there a type of scene you've yet to shoot that you really want to, or maybe it's a person that you really want to work with, you've just not been able to? Any of those things. Tell me something that you haven't gotten to yet.
Okay, well, off top, I just brainstormed like around 5, give or take, things. For sure, I have yet to get my a tentacle scene in. I legit have a tentacle fetish.
Okay.
And I generally have, again, with me being a primal, I generally have a vampire and werewolf fetish as well.
All right. Well, I mean, we're gonna come back to that. Obviously, we got to take another break.
And,
but continue with this one. Sure.
But industry protocols, apparently down the grapevine, I heard that's still categorized as bestiality, so that won't pan out in certain platforms, in
Crazy.
certain spaces.
It's just I fight with X videos getting videos uploaded just all the time. So yeah, I get it.
That means I would have to rig up 3 fuck machines by myself and just attach tentacle dildos on them and just make it work.
It's you know what though? You could do it and someone would buy it. I mean, you're gorgeous and it's a great idea, and yeah. I don't know. You could find a way to sell it, Dropbox or something like that.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's one. Wait. Tentacle scene?
Yeah, werewolf fetish scene.
Okay.
But okay, so aside from that, sexuality wise, I'm also attracted to all genders.
Okay.
I'm omnisexual.
Okay.
And that's similar to being pansexual. What they both have in common is being attracted to all genders.
Okay.
But the difference is that when you're pansexual, you focus on that person's main identity and persona and how they want to portray themselves as and present themselves as. Okay. Whereas me being omnisexual, I consider that as well, take that into account, but I also acknowledge their biological sex that they were originally born with, instead of just focusing on their personality.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, off cam, I've had sex with transgenders, but I had to have an official one on cam.
So that's
So that's
on
one on
there.
my bucket list.
Okay.
And then last thing off top of my head is before I got into the industry, one of my favorite porn companies that I used to watch was Burning Angels.
Yep.
So it's still on my bucket list to have some kind of anal threesome with Joanna Angel and Small Hands.
Oh,
And it's crazy because I've crossed paths with them a couple times when I finally started going to the AVN
Mhm.
and those expos and conventions. And I still get shy around them, but yeah, I think next time I cross paths with them, I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm just gonna pitch it.
Sure. Two Exoticas ago, I woke up to Joanna Angel, who I had no idea was so tiny. No idea. And I go like this. I had like a card, like with my podcast stuff on it, and blah, blah, blah. I go, hey, how you doing? My name's Matt. And she just looked at me like, get this fucking monster away from me, please. I don't blame her. I just came out of nowhere and was terrified.
Wait,
But
you
yes.
were already trying to get physical? Were you in her bubble or something?
No. I'm not a fucking creep. No, I wasn't
You
in her
just came
bubble.
with that extra energy?
I flop around like the Looney Tunes guy. What's his name? Gossamer, the big red thing?
Oh.
Or I'm like
Oh my
Tasmanian devil. I don't know. I'm a mess.
And
She was terrified just because I was flopping.
Bitch face?
No. She gave me the no, not at all. Not a bitch face. She gave me a somebody get security. This guy's gonna try and hurt me face. No, I did not come within her bubble. I was not more than an arm's length when I tried to hand her my card, and I didn't just jam it. I was like, hey, hi, my name's Matt.
Was there a line towards
there
her
was
nearby?
No, the line had just. Maybe the line had just started to form. There were maybe two people, and I didn't want to be in line. I didn't want any time. I just wanted to give her the business card, say, hi, my name is Matt. I work with these people. I just wanted you to, I would love to have you on for an interview sometime, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow, she curved you real quick.
It wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault at all. I'm a big, dumb monster, and I came tumbling at her, and she was in New Jersey, which is already terrifying enough.
New Jersey. That's a reputation.
Yeah. Reputation of being the best, the Garden State, having pork roll. I understand. We got it. Thanks. The Wawas. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you said, I don't blame her. Like, me being a model, that's definitely a hit or miss with me too. Like, I honestly can't always look friendly all the time.
Sure.
I'll be honest about that. And I already naturally have my guard up because I didn't grow up sheltered or privileged. So I naturally don't trust people anyways. So that's something that I have to balance is keeping myself in check with balancing being friendly, generally trying to be generally friendly to fans, and showing love. But also being wary of like other people's intentions, like because there are always predators around and people trying to take advantage of other people.
When the world tells you to go away, stop, leave, go. Don't. Instead, just come. Come, the new fragrance by the podcast that made you squirt. Available now at yourworstfriend.com. Come here, come there, come anywhere. Just come.
So, as a fan, what is the best way for me to approach, a performer in public? Obviously, there's going to be some people you shouldn't never approach at all, and you should never approach aggressively. I don't mean by that. I mean almost like if I were in a situation like this where I would say, excuse me, are you Channy Crossfire? I love your content. Would you mind if I had an autograph or a picture or something like that? Like that is, I'm not even like playing that up. I'm just not that guy where I go up aggressively. If I come up aggressively at you, it's because I'm a big dumb animal. It's not because I'm trying to be aggressive. So, so what is the best way for a fan to, if they were to approach you outside of a convention, and then maybe a convention is not different in that they're allowed to grab you or anything, but it's a little more understanding because you're at the thing kind of, presenting or whatever.
Yeah, so it really depends, honestly. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. People get excited. People have different personalities. Maybe they're on the spectrum. Maybe they have ADD. um, uh, yeah, and I can't speak for other models, but at least for myself, like uh, approaching me like with my personality type, definitely like don't come at me too fast.
Sure.
Definitely not within my bubble, my space. Um, a good safe, respectful distance boundaries. And if we're already in like a convention, expo setting, an adult setting, then yeah, go for it. Ask me if I'm Channy Crossfire. Ask me to take a picture. Be respectful, of course. But if you're in like a vanilla setting, in
Sure.
public, then yeah, I guess some implied etiquette of like with whispering or just like some acknowledgement. Um,
Oh,
but that's
can I
just
throw,
me.
can I throw this
Yeah.
in? Don't bother people when they're eating. Well, if you desperately want like an autograph or a picture or something, you may have to just wait. And then don't be
Mhm.
a creep about it. Don't stand
Yeah,
behind them and
yeah, that
wait.
should be another, etiquette across the board too when they're eating.
Eating or with
But
family.
it really is hard to balance. I understand being opportunistic, like this might be the only chance
Sure.
you
Sure.
see this person, which I totally understand. Um, it's such a thing to balance. But everyone's mood fluctuates and changes. Like sometimes I could be friendly and I'm open, to embracing fans, and then sometimes I'm just like fuck off.
Sure.
I'll be
Sure.
honest.
Sure. It's,
It's a
yeah.
hit or miss. Um, but across the board, in regards to people's safety, um, yeah, just being more careful and um, some type of consent and permission to ask if it's okay to take a picture,
Sure.
or even like just some people are okay with just a simple like acknowledgement and hi,
Sure.
you know. Um,
But you know what? That's what
yeah,
makes the conventions so great. They're an outlet for those things. You can go and
exactly.
get
You
your
could geek out
autographs. You
all
can
you
get your
want.
pictures.
Yeah.
Last year we went and I watched. I made my wife watch actually because it was hilarious. My wife is not. She's not a prude, but she's much more vanilla than me because I'm a pig. And we watched, and I was going to talk to Alex Cole because we had
Mhm.
been emailing back and forth, and then
Uh-huh.
we both kind of just fell off, and I wanted to introduce myself again. So I come running at her, and no, I'm just kidding. I respectfully waited in line, but the gentleman in front of us was a true gentleman, and he paid Alex the whatever amount, and then he laid on the floor, and for 5 minutes she rubbed her feet in his mouth with her
Oh
socks on.
my god.
And I was like, this is fun. This is a fun industry. But yeah,
Wait, hold on.
yeah.
And I'm curious about the technique. Was she kneading
I
her
didn't see it.
toes?
I didn't see it. It was behind the podium. I made my
Oh,
wife go
okay.
around and look.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but I didn't look because I'm so desensitized to everything. I would have been fine. If that guy was drinking dumpster juice with her feet in his face, I would have been like, yeah, that's
Oh,
normal. That's normal with the shit I've seen. So,
sloppy foot jobs. Got it.
so, but those conventions are for that type of thing. Go get your picture.
Oh yeah. It's
But
so much like sex positivity and body positivity for sure.
But I will say there's an etiquette at these things as well. It's not just a free
Mhm.
for all. I felt so bad last year. We met up with someone I had interviewed a few times. She's an OnlyFans performer, blew up. I love her. She's just a sweetheart. Cat Karma Orgasmic. People check her out if you haven't seen her before. But her and her husband produce a lot of gangbang content. Good stuff. Anyway, I met them for the first time, and I saw a lot of guys like, because she's not some big name with security or anything, they were super disrespectful. At the end of the night, I was like, I wanted to say goodbye. It was a pleasure meeting you, this and that. I really loved you guys. If you're here next year, maybe we could do dinner or something like that. And then the next guy behind me, after I said bye, kind of just walks up and like slaps her ass, and he's like, let's take a picture. Da, da, da.
Oh
And it
my
was,
god, are you
and
serious?
again,
Straight up just
this is her first year at one of these things. I saw the look on her face and I was just kind of, and she didn't say anything, and maybe I'm drawing something out of nothing. I'm just telling you what I saw. But I saw like this look on her face like, ugh, scumbag. So when you go to these things, make sure there's an etiquette there. Just because they're dressed sexy and fucking signing shit, there is an etiquette. Be a human being. If you're listening to this, you're a human being.
Again, that's such a tricky thing too, because we have yet to really implement that. Like as a mainstream protocol, it shouldn't be implied. Like I have yet to see some kind of statement on the sites. If, I don't know, they put disclaimers for people who purchase these passes yet, and put these rules and etiquettes on there. Because I know at the sex parties, they have on their bio description, like, how to come dressed and your hygiene and being respectful, and then no one's obligated to do anything. No is a no.
Sure.
But yeah, it's such a tricky thing, especially at that convention and being in this industry. A lot of people stereotype and get it twisted and assume that I mean, people don't understand that not everyone is the same. Everyone is different. Not everyone. Some people do get off being objectified. Some people don't.
Sure.
Some people like the extra attention. Some people don't. Some of us are extroverts. Some of us are introverts. So
someone told me that recently, and that really, really surprised me, because dumb, stupid brain me that took one psychology class in high school was like, well, these girls are fucking on camera. They must at least be extroverts. They must really be open. And so many people I've talked to recently, big, giant name porn stars who've done giant gangbangs and this and that and come everywhere. Oh my God, the come everywhere. And they're just like, yeah, I'm an introvert. I like to just kind of
that's
be me.
Me too. I'm actually an introvert as well, which is why I always need extra time to recharge in between my travels. And I don't go out unless it's the gym or for work or my community volunteer activism. And me being primal and me also doing femdom on the side too, I definitely, like, if I'm away from the gym too long, I have less patience and tolerance around people. And I know that about myself enough to like keep myself inside.
Sure. But you know what? There's something so mature or intelligent about that though, where like you said you weren't quite 5150, but maybe 5148, and you pulled yourself out of that. You just recognized one day, hey, this is shit. Let me get out of this. You just, recognize that's very mature. And I think that's probably why you are successful in this and you will continue to be successful. Cause I think you understand that, yes, this can be fun. Yes, this can be art, but it's a job too,
Exactly.
You got to treat it that way.
My first AVN interview, she told me that it's good to know that there are more level-headed people in this industry.
That's nice.
And that's what I also bring to the table. Like I'm very aware of how disillusioned I am of this industry, but also still optimistic and idealistic enough how it's still making progressive changes, and being more inclusive and diverse. And we're starting to have better safety protocols and better mentoring, for new people coming in and out of this industry. And like I said, I'm glad I got into this industry with the life experience I already had. Because I first moved out at 18. If I had gone into the industry at 18 with my old self-sabotaging habits, before I went soul searching, before I started forgiving myself and other people, I would not have survived and made it out alive. I honestly believe that. I'm glad I'm not one of those statistics, which is ironic. But that's why I see myself as a game changer in this industry. Like I said, not all of us are superficial, not all of us are shallow. We could bring wholesomeness into this industry and positivity, and sex is healing when done right, when it's consensual. We take our power back. That's what I've been trying to educate people on all these podcasts and interviews I've been doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this last question here. What is the end game? Are you making porn at 75 years old? Which is totally, it's, you know, you're right, it is. But at the same time, there's a market for everyone. So if there is,
Yeah.
hey, who doesn't want that type of porn? Me. I'm good. I'll watch the younger stuff of you. The stuff in your 50s or something.
Mhm.
But more power to the women that make it and more power to the guys that
Mhm.
buy it. I don't give a shit. That's your business, man. Whatever you got to do. Is that the end game to work in this industry forever? Is the end game to get big enough financially, you're out, good to go? Or what is it? Tell me.
Well, let's see. Definitely, there's a fetish and kink and market for everything. I know that now because of this industry. Um, I'm so grateful to have been able to take care of my mental health these last few years and find my authenticity, where I've started to own up and accept the fact that I will have fans that will appreciate and respect all these sides to me and all these aspects to me. You know, where um, uh, I used to keep those two separate, you know, but now it's integrating in a good like harmonic way. And yeah, my end game and big picture really is, yeah, the more exposure I have, the more platforms I have, the more I'm able to talk about what really matters to me, which is actually mental health and certain social justice issues, you know, like the more we're able to have these deep conversations, and I live for deep conversations,
Sure.
and these hard conversations, I think that's really where the healing finally starts to happen in our communities. When it starts with ourselves, you know, we'll be able to find things that we could relate to. We could share our pain together and our grief together, and that's what I hope. You know, um, calling myself a pandemic porn star, that I hope to bring to the table. Like we need healing more than ever, especially in our communities where things are so like stigmatized, you know,
Well,
and there's not that type of acceptance. And we need more level-headed people who's able to balance the pros and cons, the harsh truth, the realities, but the beautiful struggle in it too, you know. Um,
so,
like yeah, just the human aspect to it. And
so
yeah,
wait,
that is
I mean, I wrote that script before. Let me write out the rest of your life. Here's what it is. Ready? Keep
I mean,
growing.
okay,
Uh, uh,
like I'll admit, I didn't think I would. Okay, this is holy shit. I think this might be at least uh my third or fourth year in this industry,
okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna be in it this long. But honestly, because of the pandemic and quarantine, it has changed like certain schedules, you know, certain setbacks that would have been different if I was in it before. But I think that's a whole other conversation too,
Sure.
and the pros and cons of having all these new platforms now,
Hmm.
which is good for people who don't want to go out, probably better for introverts who
Sure.
don't want to have to deal with people. Um, but that's another thing with mental health as well. Like I feel like because I'm an introvert naturally, um, I don't other people's opinions don't bother me as much.
Okay.
But I think that it's really the extroverts in this industry that I think are having a hard time um, integrating into conventional life if family and friends find out what they do, because they naturally thrive off of other people's energy,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's uh, that's something I hope uh, you know, again, mental health,
Well,
just
look,
you know, our passions that should help get us through. Yeah.
let me paint it for you. Ready? Here's what it is. Really, and you know, I try and be funny, but here's what it is. Grow bigger, win some AVNs, get some trophies, get some Performer of the Year stuff, and be the first one that actually succeeds at starting a union in this industry.
Oh, oh.
That's I look. You can implement any kind of mental health stuff you want, social justice stuff you want. That can be you. just like where you went from sitting on or laying on your mom's couch or whatever it was, or the trauma you had, you went from that stuff to walking a red carpet at the AVN. You can go from where you are right now to that president of the union. You're smart enough to do it. You are driven enough, it seems like, to do it. So do it.
At this point, I definitely have faith in Goddess and the multiverse to surprise me with things. That's for sure. That's probably on the drawing board and vision board, and that's probably in the long game version of it. But in my short term goals, I'm just gonna keep having these amazing, beautiful mental health conversations along the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and finding the good fight. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight, the lovely Channy Crossfire. You can find links to you can find links to everything
right now.
Am I what? What's wrong? Can you hear me?
Right now?
Yeah, am I doing
Sorry,
what?
I didn't mean to interrupt the flow you're plugging.
It's okay. It's okay. You're good. You're good. This is another fun one. I had a fun one with another performer recently. Where it just like went on and I was like, I don't even know if we talked about sex at all. And I was like, that's fine. It's good enough. I'll take it. You can find links to everything Channy does in the episode description below, but I really want to recommend you check out her OnlyFans at Channy Crossfire. Channy, thank you so much for coming on and having this wonderful discussion with me. I think we accomplished a lot. I think you are amazing in your content. I feel somewhat bad for that dude you screamed at while you were blowing him, letting him fuck you.
I didn't scream at him.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Glared at him.
You glared at him with smoky eyeshadow, I believe. That fucking was enough to make me go like, oh, this girl's terrifying.
Oh my god. Hold on, I want to plug in two things real quick.
Yes, please.
I forget. Oh shit. Okay, please vote for me at goddessamongus.com/contestants/Channy Crossfire. That's also on my link tree as well, with a list of both my safe for work and non-safe for work activities.
Yeah, there you go.
And last but not least, support my friends' company called Pornabis. Best of both worlds if you like porn and cannabis. Shout out to Donnie Sins. His birthday is tomorrow, and he's one of the co-founders.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, links to all of that below. There you go. Link tree. Correct. Channy. There you go. Thanks for coming on with me tonight.
Thanks for having me.